IQWealthWorkshops.com. I'm Rod Tanner.
The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Money Radio staff, management, or advertisers, and do not represent an offer to buy or sell any securities. Some interviews heard on this program may be sponsored by the participants. It's time for Health Futures with Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth. This is Arizona's only show dedicated to providing you with expert advice on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. To learn more, call 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Health Futures, taking stock in you. And we are coming at you live from the Scottsdale Air Park, Money Radio Studios, 1510 AM, 105.3 FM, and on the World Wide Web, moneyradio1510.com. And it must be Friday, and indeed it is. It is hard to believe this is the last Friday of October. And I know a lot of people are getting into the Halloween spirit because I talked to a lot of people, so there's a lot of Halloween parties going on this weekend. And our producer over there, Renee, is preparing for Halloween as well. I saw her putting her costume together and some other things together. So needless to say, everyone have a safe Halloween trick-or-treat. So if you are just tuning in for the first time to this show, Health Futures is a show about how our older adult population can live a healthier, happier life. And it really isn't about me, our host. It's about the guests that I bring to the studio. And today is no different. I'm bringing an extraordinary guest and a good friend, PK Fields. She is from eldersense.com. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bob.
It's good to have you here on the show. And, you know, you and I have had a chance to get to know one another over the years. And the thing I find extraordinary about you is not only have you created this living, breathing organism called ElderSense that lives out there on the web, but the thing is that this is all driven by your personal passion. And your story is amazing. And I would like to take this first segment so that our listening audience could get a good understanding about PK Fields and how she came to create this eldersense.com.
So I guess part of it started when I was working in hospitality, and I was recruited by Steve Wynn to work at Mirage Resorts and launch the initial websites for Bellagio, Treasure Island, Mirage, Gold Nugget, and Beau Rivage in the South. And they did not have websites at the time, and we put in online room bookings and online reservation systems.
What year are we talking about?
We're talking about late 99.
Late 99. Wow, they didn't have any of that stuff back then.
None of it. They had a splash page that went to, listed a fax number that went to another site and a call center. And between the faxing, it cost $7.50 a reservation that they were paying another company.
Wow.
And I brought this to Steve's attention, which the hotel presidents at the time did not think was great news, because I did not know the politics of how you went through hotels and casinos in Vegas. They work a little differently than other hospitality companies at that time. So I said, you're losing this. We need to put in a reservation system. And he brought in the Bellagio Hotel president, Alan Furstenberg. And Alan is now head of all of Montage. He's the CEO of Montage Resorts at this point.
Wow.
Now. But at that time, he just gave me evil eyes. Now he just talks so highly of me. He's always telling people, I always hear back, that I put them on the road and ahead of the game. We were ahead of MGM. We were ahead of Harrah's, because all of them were separate companies at the time. So we launched online room bookings and started doing well. Then he had the takeover by MGM. And at that point, I jumped ship and went to Caesars. So I went from 6 hotels for Steve to 17 hotel websites. So we had all Hilton Gaming, Paris, Las Vegas, Bally's, Flamingo, and Caesars Palaces, Atlantic City, Tahoe, Reno, Laughlin, Biloxi, Tunica, and New Orleans. and I was working there, and we were doing great. And my dad got sick while I was there, actually, and they figured out what it was.
Can you give us a time range on this about?
That was early 2000s, and 2000, and I got a phone call that he had lung cancer. So I wound up in a hospital with a case manager going over all our options, and I said, okay. But a great doctor in L.A., Rob McKenna, got it out, and which gave him so many more years. We were super grateful for that, but we thought it was out for good. And then I was at Starwood Corporate in New York, and I got a phone call that he was back at Cedars, and got on a plane, went back to Cedars.
About how many years later was that?
2000s.
So 4 or 5 years later since the original surgery?
4, 5, 6 years later.
4, 5, 6 years. And I'm just summing up what you're saying. So you started with Steve Wynn and worked with his properties, 4, 5, 6 properties.
Right, 6 properties.
And then you went to go work, after he sold to MGM, you went to go work for Caesars.
Right.
Which was like 17 properties.
5 brands, 17 properties.
5 brands, 17 properties.
17 different websites.
And then you went to Starwood. Wow,
I did.
These really small companies.
Starwood, I did strategy at corporate for their online vacation ship owner.
And where were they located? Are they...
Corporate for Starwood's in New York, it was White Plains. Starwood Vacation Ownership, their headquarters were Orlando.
And I'm a Starwood Vacation Ownership owner. So there you go.
Yeah, which property?
Kaanapali.
Okay.
Kaanapali. Sometimes I kill myself for having done that because I bought at the peak, but it did force me to have 10 consecutive years of vacations with my children, and that's what I was looking for. So,
excellent.
Yeah, so it did serve its purpose. Not a great investment, but a purposeful vacation time that we had slotted a certain week.
So from there, I got a phone call that my dad was sick, and I went back to Cedars and back in a case manager's office, and now she's giving me different pamphlets. And I just looked at her and I said, okay, there's got to be something online that tells me all my options. And she said, no. And she said, be careful if you go online, because once they get your name, you're just going to get phone calls and you're not going to be sure what it's coming from, and they're just selling you. And I didn't know what that was. And I said, if you can book a hotel room anywhere in the world for 24 hours or 2 months, why can't you go on, find assisted living? And at that time, I thought caregivers too, but I then became smarter than that because, as you know, caregivers really need to be vetted. And to have people find caregivers through us, if we weren't vetting them, was unresponsible on our behalf. So we moved out of that arena. But what we did launch was ElderSense, which is similar to Hotels.com or an MLS system where you can go on our website or on a tablet or on a phone, just type in ElderSense.com, and you can pull it up by zip code or city, and then use the filters like an MLS system and look for type of property. If you're
doing it right now.
If you're looking for memory care, respite care. If you're taking care of a family member at your home and you need a vacation, you can actually find a place through our site nearby that they can go to for a week to 3 months and then come back home. Or if they're coming out of a hospital and just need to get stronger, to go into an assisted living, either a group home or a big community offering them more activities, or memory care, and then bring them back home. And you can connect them through the site, but you're calling the properties directly, and that's the difference from what we're doing than most people.
Well, it's interesting because I'm navigating through your website, and I want to make sure our listening audience has this. So make sure you go to eldersense.com, ELDERSENSE.com. And I'm up on this website, and I'm going to tell you that it is very easy to navigate through. And you can refine your search because on the left-hand side, you can pick location, lifestyle choice, residence, price, amenities. You can really drill down to the exact thing you're looking for. And unfortunately, a lot of times people are on budgets, so price is really important. So you refine your search by a certain price, and you'll get the listing of available locations or locations that are in that geographical area that you're looking for. Well, we've got a little Michael McDonald taking us out with the Doobie Brothers. PK, I told you that it goes really, really fast. You've been listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. I've got PK Fields from ElderSense.com here in the studio. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Don't miss the longest-running, most trusted economic forecasting event in the Valley, the 55th Annual ASU Economic Forecast Luncheon, Wednesday, November 28th at the Phoenix Convention Center. Get the outlook on the national, regional, and local economy, as well as financial, real estate, and construction sectors from featured speakers. John Cochran, Rose Marie and Jack Anderson Senior Fellow, Hoover Institution, Stanford University, Bart Hoban, Professor of Economics, Arizona State University, and Lee McFeeters, Research Professor of Economics and Director of the J.P. Morgan Chase Economic Outlook Center at ASU's W.P. Carey School of Business. Presented by the Department of Economics at the ASU W.P. Carey School of Business with promotional and live radio support sponsored by Money Radio 1510 AM and 105.3 FM. It's the 55th Annual ASU Economic Luncheon, Wednesday, November 28th. For information or to register at this year's event, go to wpcarey.asu.edu/EFL. That's wpcarey.asu.edu/EFL.
Hey, this is Corey Schuyler from Core Fitness. I'm looking for 15 local guys who are looking to dramatically transform their bodies and energy in 12 weeks. Here's the deal. Once a quarter, we take on 15 new guys to partake in our most intensive transformation program. This is not a cardio plan or some foo-foo juice cleanse or starvation diet. You're going to eat to gain muscle and melt away the love handles. You're going to train like you mean it. You're going to make friends and enjoy the process. It's 12 weeks after all. This isn't a quick fix, but in 12 weeks, you'll be amazed. A highly motivated man who is not broke, just check out some of the transformations at CoreFitnessArizona.com. What you'll get with the program: personal custom meal plan, personal grocery list, personal food prep instructions, 42 done-for-you recipes, personal accountability coach, 3 cutting-edge workouts per week with me at the gym, world-class online support, and much, much more. That being said, this is for motivated men only. If you've gotten to that point where enough's enough, we'd love to have you. Once again, go to CoreFitnessArizona.com, sign up, and I'll see you there.
The Home Depot, the next generation of home improvement with everything you need to do projects smarter. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing.
The world looks rosy,
oh, what a rosy-colored hue,
up on Sweetheart Hill.
Even a cabaret will do.
For a girl named Mary,
Mary is what I answer to.
A boy named Bill.
Well, what do you know? That must be you.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you, and we're on segment number 2. If you missed the first segment, you can catch it right up on our website at cypresshomecare.com. And we are up on the very top. Hit the media button. Third button down is the radio show. So if you're just tuning in, I've got PK Fields from ElderSense.com here in the studio, and we are talking about how to navigate to solutions for your loved one that can no longer live in their home by themselves. And PK did a great job talking about really how she got into this space. Because many of us, including myself, yours truly, I've talked about it. I'm a former consumer product goods marketer. PK was in the hospitality business, working for some incredible brands, like Caesar's World, the Wynn Properties, and Starwood. And really what happened was she got the phone call about Dad. For me, it was about my mom, and really saw this void that was out there to help people navigate to some solutions on where loved ones can go. And PK, you've been at this for how many years now?
Oh my gosh, about 8 years.
About 8 years.
But we launched ElderSense 3 years ago in Phoenix. That's when I first came here and met you, Bob.
Yeah, I was one of the first people you met, and I will tell you, you have really become known in our community. I mean, before we even started the show, you told me all the people you sat down with, and I mean, it's taken me a long time to get to know those people, and I've been at this for 15 years, and you've only been at it 3. And I think the reason why you've been successful is because I think you've created, for lack of a better word, a really awesome mousetrap but I also think it's you and your tenacity and your passion really comes out when you talk to people as to why you're doing what you're doing. You know, there's so many ways to find places for loved ones, and I think it's really confusing. I mean, there isn't really a book out there that everyone subscribes to. There's so many people that are doing it in so many different ways. And truly, in our state, it's kind of like the Wild Wild West. I mean, we just had some legislation that was just passed this past spring, where, you know, the disclosure needs to happen between the person that is showing people assisted living or independent living communities or skilled living communities as to what those people that are showing, how much they're getting paid. And, you know, these aren't real estate agents. There is no licensure that is really required. And truly, it's kind of like the Wild Wild West. So that full disclosure is really required. And with your company, you are not taking, you know, placement fees per se. You are working with these homeowners, these facilities that are putting their places up on your directory, but you are truly a directory, so you don't have to pay. You are covering everybody here in the Phoenix metropolitan community, correct?
Right. We're a SaaS model.
Okay, explain what a SaaS is.
SaaS is software as a service.
Okay.
So we're an inventory management tool for adult group homes as well as large communities, which are called assisted living centers and memory care centers, where they can manage their inventory. So anyone visiting our website can see real-time availability and pricing. And the only problem I've found with this is the smaller homes that may only have 5 to 10 beds will always list they've got availability because, unfortunately, someone's usually in hospice. But with that, someone who is filling a bed today may not be filling that bed in 2 days, so they don't want to miss that phone call.
Right.
And that's one of the issues we've had that's a little misleading. For us, one of the key things I've found as we've launched here, and I've met people in the community like you, and I'm super grateful to you because you have pointed me and made super great introductions for us.
Thank you.
To meet people, be it with big groups like ICP, the case managers, or different hospital groups, is that families don't want to have the conversation. And you've had this on your show before. They don't want to talk to their parent that you can't live alone, and it's time to do something about it. And they wait until, unfortunately, there's an accident where someone takes a fall, which becomes the catalyst. And then you're sitting in a hospital and you're on a timer, because at a certain point, if you've got a loved one in a hospital and the doctors say there's nothing else we can do at this time, you're either going to improve or you're going to start a decline. But if we can't do anything for you in the hospital, that means you need to either go to skilled nursing or a rehabilitation center, which is usually covered by Medicare or insurance. Or if your parent can't live alone, they need to go to assisted living or move in with you. And you have the opportunity to either move into your parents' home, which doesn't work for most families. But when you've got 6 hours to scramble and find a place, we're a great resource to start with. Now, if you're on our site and you'd rather have someone drive you around, which isn't what we do, since we connect you directly with each community, not a call center, and you get to speak to the home or community directly, and you call us, which is 855-7-LOVED-1, we'll connect you with someone who will drive you around. There are several partnerships we have, depending on the area of town that you're looking in, that will drive you around, which becomes, they'll then do a referral fee. But as a SaaS model, we list everyone that's licensed in the state, and those that pay us a nominal fee, which ranges between $75 to $200 a month, they then get a full page of real estate on our site, 15 pictures, 70 data points, real-time availability, if you can bring your own animal, what type of rooms are offered. And that's what sets us apart.
Well, you know what, and I truly believe, and I'm glad that you have put this in place, is these partnerships. Because, again, I go back to the fact that this is an unregulated field.
Right.
And, these placement folks, where many of them are doing a really good job, there are some bad actors out there. And like you and I coming together, I mean, I've pointed you in the direction of some of the people that are, well thought of and do an extraordinary job here in our community. And you sound like, well, we talked off the air, some of the partnerships you have, they're the same ones we have. Because they're people you can trust, and they're people that will do right by the consumer that has landed on your page, has called you, and says, hey, I need someone to tour. Need someone to tour me. And that's not the business you're in. And some people need that.
Exactly.
And look, you have to look at how can I best serve that person that is in need. And, this space that we're in, PK, there's nothing sexy about it at all. And, these are the things that people never think of. And we talk about a lot on our show about advanced directives, advanced planning, to be having these conversations with your mom or dad or loved one saying, hey, when you can't live home alone, what would you like to do? Because the perfect situation is to have these discussions and maybe even pre-tour some locations beforehand, whether it be a group home or a facility or center, as you've referred to. So you at least know that when that time comes, this is what mom or dad would really wish and would really like. It's interesting. You talked about the hospital, and, they work really fast to get people out. And 6 hours may be on the longer side sometimes, and sometimes it's less. The one piece that you left off, and you didn't do it purposely, but you're wanting to talk about moving away from home, but the other option is to stay at home, and a lot of people don't even talk about that. And the biggest challenge I have, and you being in the space can really appreciate this, is that a lot of our social workers and case managers in both the acute centers, which are hospitals, or post-acute, which would be rehab or SNFs, SNFs being skilled nursing facilities, they often think home health and home care are the same. And they're so different. And they never really think about private duty, private pay as an option. And then you got providers like Cypress that take all techs. The nice thing is that what you have got here is whether it's private pay, all techs, you name it, you have the solution here on the page. I'm looking at it right now, and you can refine your search by putting down, are you, from a pricing standpoint, is it Medicaid or Medicare? Instead of Medicaid, you have All-Techs, and that's our state's Arizona Long-Term Care Services. But people know that here in our state. And I would imagine if you're looking at Vegas, it probably says Medicaid, because I know you're in Vegas as well. So, I think this is really awesome, the service that you've got. And watching you grow over these 3 years has been nothing but short of phenomenal. I know we're getting ready to wrap up our second segment. It's hard to believe. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the awards that you've won, and then also talk about, what you learned from those. And I wanted just to say this. This song that is being taken us out is PK's mom, the late Polly Bergen. It's a beautiful song. Right. Thumbs up to Wes. Thank you very much. You've been listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. We have got PK Fields, and we are talking eldersense.com, and we are being taken out by her late mom, Polly Bergen. We'll be right back.
As we reach the bottom of the hour, we pause for a look at the world's news. Then we're back with Money Talk. We're Money Radio 1510 AM and 105.3 FM.
Special report bomb scare arrest. FBI Director Christopher Wray says a suspect in custody for sending 13 improvised explosive devices to prominent figures, including 2 former presidents.
They uncovered a latent fingerprint from one of the envelopes containing an IED that had been sent to Congresswoman Maxine Waters. We have confirmed this fingerprint is that of Cesar Sayoc.
Sayoc was arrested this morning in Florida. Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
Political violence or the threat of violence is antithetical to our vigorous system of self-government.
Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen says the nation cannot tolerate political violence.
I condemn these cowardly acts in the strongest possible terms.
The suspect, Sayok, had a long record with police, including a 2002 bomb threat charge. He's been convicted on theft, stolen property, and traffic charges. They have not ruled out anyone else being involved. I'm Mike Moss.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Stock up and save this fall at your neighborhood Ace. When you're taking care of the everyday projects around your house, Ace is your one-stop shop to find exactly what you're looking for. Get great deals now through October 29th, like buy one, get one free on select LED light bulbs, buy one, get one free on Ace basic house keys, and buy two, get one free on Ace furnace filters. Only at your local Ace, the helpful place. Offers valid at participating stores. Exclusions and limits may apply. See store for details.
Noted author, former chief medical correspondent, and Salonpas user Dr. Bob Arnott.
The human body has billions of pain receptors. Block those receptors with the anesthetics found in Salonpas Lidocaine Plus, and you'll have relief. Salonpas Lidocaine Plus contains 2 anesthetics, including the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription. They numb aggravated nerves for effective, lasting relief. For relief, try what I use, Salonpas Lidocaine Plus.
In the silver box with the blue wave.
If you can get a signal on your smartphone, then you can listen live to Money Radio. Download our app for free and never miss a moment of the great advice.
Hello, Phoenix. This is Chris Hill with The Motley Fool, inviting you to join me for Motley Fool Money every Saturday at 5 p.m. right here on the Southwest's longest-running financial talk station, Money Radio. Meanwhile, Monday through Friday, don't miss Mastering Money from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. with Kipling Air contributor Steve Jurich, the founder of IQ Wealth. Let Steve show you how to retire and stay retired. And now we are happy to join Steve on Mondays for Motley Fool Mondays. We'll see you there.
Don't miss the longest-running, most trusted economic forecasting event in the Valley, the 55th Annual ASU Economic Forecast Luncheon, Wednesday, November 28th at the Phoenix Convention Center. Get the outlook on the national, regional, and local economy, as well as financial, real estate, and construction sectors from featured speakers. John Cochran, Rose Marie and Jack Anderson Senior Fellow, Hoover Institution, Stanford University, Bart Hoban, Professor of Economics, Arizona State University, and Lee McFeeters, Research Professor of Economics and Director of the J.P. Morgan Chase Economic Outlook Center at ASU's W.P. Carey School of Business. Presented by the Department of Economics at the ASU W.P. Carey School of Business with promotional and live radio support sponsored by Money Radio 1510 AM and 105.3 FM. It's the 55th Annual ASU Economic Luncheon, Wednesday, November 28th. For information or to register at this year's event, go to wpcarey.asu.edu/EFL. That's wpcarey.asu.edu/EFL.
This is David Kogan with Eliances, ELIANCES.com. Unlock the secrets to Richard Branson, founder who we interviewed, Big Lots CEO, president of Telemundo, founder of North Face, Chuck E. Cheese founder, and hundreds more. Every Monday at noon and Saturday at 7 a.m. on Money Radio. Go to Eliances.com, ELIANCES.com to unlock the secrets of some of the most successful people in the world. Eliances.com.
The Home Depot, the next generation of home improvement with everything you need to do projects smarter. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Jim Chesko with Your Money Now. It's been the case often lately, and Wall Street is in the red again today. The Dow Industrial is down 328 points. The Nasdaq has slid 168. The S&P is lower by 52. Oil futures settled higher. December crude rose 26 cents to $67.59 a barrel. It's official. Megyn Kelly today will not be returning to NBC. The network says the Today Show's third hour will be hosted by other co-anchors for the immediate future, though it didn't indicate either way whether Kelly herself might still have a future at the network. Kelly drew fire for her comments on Tuesday's show when she suggested blackface Halloween costumes were not necessarily racist. Amazon stock is taking a hit today after the e-commerce giant announced disappointing revenue growth for the last quarter and warned that its fourth quarter, which includes the busy holiday season, would also fall short of analyst estimates. Amazon shares today are down 8.25%. That's Your Money Now.
Looking to save money on Medicare Part D? Well, Walgreens is a preferred network pharmacy for many plans, including United Healthcare, which means lower copays for you. Together, Walgreens and United Healthcare make saving on Medicare Part D quick and easy. So bring your prescriptions to your nearest Walgreens pharmacy and start saving today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901.
An official message from Medicare. Open enrollment ends soon.
So now's the time to be open-minded.
Look at everything, like prescription drug plans and Medicare Advantage plans from private insurers.
Why? Because plans change. So can your health needs.
I found lower costs and extra benefits and saved money.
Open to something better? Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE today.
Open enrollment ends December 7th.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I've stood in bread lines with the best, watched while the headlines did the rest. In the Depression, was I depressed? Nowhere near.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. I'm your host, Bob Roth, and if you're just tuning in, we're on our third segment. We had a little bit of Polly Bergen bring us into the second half, who happens to be PK Fields' late mom. And what a real pleasure, Wes, bringing a little bit of her tunes in. Where was that one from?
That was from Follies when she performed it on Broadway.
Wow.
Which is super exciting when you're working and your mom says, guess what? I'm going to be on Broadway. So most moms are settling down. My mom just kept going.
She was an actress, a singer, a television host, a writer, an entrepreneur, and a Broadway performer.
Yes, and very politically inclined. I just posted a picture of her with Sandra Day O'Connor.
No way.
On Instagram this week because of Sandra Day, Justice O'Connor's diagnosis.
Yeah. And, we're all moved by that, and we all know how close that is to her heart and her family because her husband had that, and that was the primary reason why she stepped off the bench when she did.
Yes.
Well, hopefully, with Alzheimer's, and we talk about a lot here on our show, that, her, battling this disease will help bring it more forefront than it is today. We need to figure out a way to stave off this disease and stop it from, really, ravaging families and before we lose that next generation. So, PK, we're talking about ElderSense.com, and you've created this living community that lives out on the website. You kind of said it was akin to Hotels.com, which is really perfect because no one has to pay to be up there. It's a directory. And these locations that do pay, they only pay a nominal amount, and what they do is they get a higher profile. They get, is it a banner or on the homepage or whatever that is. They
get an entire other page of real estate with much more information and 70 data points, 15 pictures. Currently, we list all their own phone numbers. In the future, those that don't pay us may wind up at a call center, but we're not there yet. Right now, it goes to each of the homes. So if anyone's looking and you want to just see what's in your neighborhood, you can go to ElderSense.com, put in your zip code, and you can see every community or home licensed in your area.
And you did give the number out before. It's 855-7-LOVED-1. And for those that are challenged with the name, it's
756-8331. 855-756-8331.
Perfect. And the website's real easy. It's ElderSense, ElderSense.com. So this has been up and going for about 3 years. And I know you've been working really hard, and it's amazing how networked you are into our community and how many people know about ElderSense.
Both communities, Arizona's technology community as well as Arizona's senior living communities.
So let's talk about the technologies community, because I kind of gave a little tease at the break that you have been bestowed a number of honors. First of all, about a year and a half ago, there was a great profile about you in the Arizona Republic. And,
yes.
And I know that you were surprised by that, but it was like a front page cover. And, they really talked about what you're doing and your passion. The exposure is amazing, and I know that our community loves human interest stories, and you are a great human interest story. And that was extraordinary. But then, just months later, maybe 6 months or a year later, you were pitching at this contest, and I want you to kind of walk us through what took place. And it is in the technology vertical, and yours is, you talked about it's a SaaS, a software working as a service, and you are in that technology space. And go ahead. You take it from here. I don't want to steal your thunder.
So last year, there's a big event that takes place. Let me start with that. Each February called Startup Week in Phoenix. And it's free to attend. It's backed by different big companies as well as Arizona's Tech Council, and part of the government backs it, Arizona's Commerce Authority.
There are thousands of people that descend on this
Huge.
town. And I went to it not last year, but the year before.
Huge.
They used the U of A downtown campus, ASU downtown campus, NAU.
Galvanize. There are so many different places and venues for speakers, and there are tracks. So depending what track you want to be on, you could have a choice any hour of seeing 6 different people speak, and it goes for an entire week. And last year was the second year they did something called Street Pitch, where they shut down the street and do a Shark Tank event.
So cool.
And the first year I went, and I had applied, and we didn't make it, but I met the people who were putting it on and spoke with them. And one was from Arizona's Founders Fund and a few others, and then started talking to them. So when it came up the second year, they looked at me and said, well, aren't you going to apply again? And I said, okay. So we applied, and we were chosen as one of the 48 companies. So that was pretty exciting.
48.
Out of 48 companies. And then we got the email that we were one of the 10 companies chosen to pitch.
Wow.
So at that point, they give you a counselor or someone to work with, literally, to hone in on your pitch. And I was grateful enough to know you, Bob, because before I did this, I did like 4 days before, came and ran my pitch by you. And you gave me some tips, which I'm super grateful for. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that night, as cold as it was, Arizona doesn't get cold, it was chilly that night, there were 10 companies out there. They shut the street down, Street Pitch, and one of the judges was Michael Houle, great guy, well-known here in Arizona.
Good friend of mine.
An attorney who works here as well as Silicon Valley, investor in startups, now an investor in Elder Sense. I believe is it Missy Campbell who's the Olympic swimmer from here?
It's Missy. I'm not sure it's Campbell.
Right.
I'll come up with that.
Okay. And Rami Dillon from Arizona Founders Fund, and those were the judges, and we won. We won. I was blown away, and we were super excited. And then I spent the next 3 months doing strategy of how we were going to use the money we won, and then it took another turn.
And what happened? You were profiled in the Business Journal. Well, I'll take it from here. The group that sponsored this thing, they chose not to pay it out. The award prize, not only to Elder Sense, but after PK did some digging, she found out the year before, they did not pay out the.
Correct. Arizona's Founders Fund didn't pay out. For whatever their reasoning is, they are no longer involved with this event. On the other hand, Michael Houle, who, when I won that night, stood up and said that he was adding $25,000 to the pot, wrote that check.
He's an awesome guy. If you want to learn a little bit about Michael Hool, go to Hool Corey Law. That's HOOLCOURYLAW.com.
And he totally appreciates Elder Sense because his mother-in-law lives on their property next door to him.
I knew that. Absolutely. You know, you learn a lot from experiences. And, you know, while that experience was not very good to you in the sense the final outcome, the final outcome, the learning experience is something you'll probably treasure for a long time. I mean, you got validation. You got a chance to experience the highs and lows that come along with it, something like that. And I will tell you, highs, I got a phone call from you like at 10:30 that night. You were at the airport. Your son was getting married that weekend, and you were getting on a plane, and, I mean, you were just screaming, excited. I wish I could bottle that for you. That was awesome. So we got to get taken up by your mom one more time. You're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. I've got PK Fields here in the studio. We're talking eldersense.com. Stick around for our last segment. We will be right back.
What wouldn't I do for that man?
Real men are putting the power of pink into action. Breast cancer is the most common cancer and is the second leading cause of cancer death among American women. More than 266,000 women will be diagnosed with cancer this year. However, men are also at risk for breast cancer, with an estimated 2,550 men expected to be diagnosed this year alone. Real men have a shared determination to save lives from breast cancer. Support Real Men Wear Pink by visiting www.realmenwearpinkacs.org/PhoenixAZ.
Hey, this is Corey Schuyler from Core Fitness. I'm looking for 15 local guys who are looking to dramatically transform their bodies and energy in 12 weeks. Here's the deal. Once a quarter, we take on 15 new guys to partake in our most intensive transformation program. This is not a cardio plan or some foo-foo juice cleanse or starvation diet. You're going to eat to gain muscle and melt away the love handles. You're going to train like you mean it. You're going to make friends and enjoy the process. It's 12 weeks after all. This isn't a quick fix, but in 12 weeks, you'll be amazed at the results. If you're a highly motivated man who is not broke, just check out some of the transformations at CoreFitnessArizona.com. What you'll get with the program: personal custom meal plan, personal grocery list, personal food prep instructions, 42 done-for-you recipes, personal accountability coach, 3 cutting-edge workouts per week with me at the gym, world-class online support, and much, much more. That being said, this is for motivated men only. If you've gotten to that point where enough's enough, we'd love to have you. Once again, go to CoreFitnessArizona.com, sign up, and I'll see you there.
Financial words of wisdom with Market Wrap host Mo Ansari.
There should be a little sign like there's on the side of cigarette packets. Picking tops and bottoms can be hazardous to your wealth. Don't try to do it.
It's helpful financial food for thought on your drive home with a host who tells it like it is. Market Wrap with Mo Ansari.
Catch Market Wrap on Money Radio 1510 and 105.3 FM Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. The Home Depot, the next generation of home improvement with everything you need to do projects smarter. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. We got a little lover boy working for the weekend taking us out. You know, it's really nice at Cowbell Friday here in the Money Radio studios at Health Futures. So we're getting ready for Friday afternoon. Some people are getting ready to kick back to start their Halloween celebrations this weekend. And we are here talking about our older adults and talking about eldersense.com. I've got PK Fields here in the studio. If you missed our first 3 segments, go up to our website at cypresshomecare.com. Click on the 3rd button on the top right, drop down arrow, and you will see our radio show. We'll see about 200 plus others that we've been bringing to you for the last 5 years. So PK, you and I not only got acquainted when you first arrived here, but you also got acquainted with me through the Aging 2.0 movement. And I've talked a lot about Aging 2.0. Matter of fact, they have their Optimize annual conference coming up in a couple weeks here in San Francisco. And for me, while I was very enamored about Aging 2.0 and I was kind of bringing it here to Arizona, you already knew a lot about it. You knew Stephen Johnston, you knew Katie Fike, you knew a lot of the people that were principally behind it, the Generations Ventures and all those other groups. I am always amazed about who you know and how you know them and some of the funding sources for some of these startups. I mean, you are really knee-deep into technology. While you are in the elder space, you are very much in the technology space, and you've got this strong digital background through your work with Starwood, Caesars, and with the Wynn properties. But you are a person that really gets around town to really know about all this. So I really wanted to push this back over to you. We've got an aging demographic. We know that 10,000 people a day are turning 65. We know that our oldest of baby boomers are now 72. We also know the baby boomers didn't save like the greatest generation did. But we know baby boomers are savvy, and they are understanding of technology, and they like having things at their fingertips, kind of like what ElderSense.com does. So I want to punt it over to you. Love that football metaphor.
Like that.
Got a little bit of Cardinals this Sunday. Hopefully we get our second win against San Francisco. That'd be really cool. But I want to punt it over to you to really talk a little bit about technology and how that and the elder space is all coming together.
So I initially got involved with technology through Mary Furlong's group and attending Mary's conferences, and that's where I had met Katie Fike and Steve Johnson, and I met them also leading Age in Pasadena. They were doing a co-event there. And Louis Tannenbaum, who you had on the show, I
just saw him a couple weeks ago.
Aging in Place,
He's
right?
such a great guy.
He's a great guy. He's one of our advisors. He's terrific out of D.C., does a lot of work with AARP. And, you know, he's back. His thing is Aging in Place, which works great with a lot of what Cypress does. And something that families don't take in consideration, and it's not just the technology, but everything you have at your fingertips. And people don't think of saying to a parent, let's go visit a durable medical goods store and see what's there. Walking through a store just gives you so many ideas of how you can improve a parent's home so simply, which keeps them in that home so much longer. But that's just one aspect. They're offering now some technologies of sensors that you can put in the home. So if you just know that your parent got up and shut the bathroom door, so you know they were up that day and aren't still in bed. There are phone services, there are medication management tools. Amazon got in this service recently by buying PillPack. Who knew?
Right.
Exactly.
They're also very involved in some of these ventures like Electronic Caregiver. I know that Tony Dorman, who's the CEO and president, has had several meetings with those guys, and they're very enamored with that kind of stuff.
They see it. They've added that if you're on Medicaid, you have they'll give you a discount for Amazon Prime.
Wow.
Which is not just delivery of any of their products, but access to their movies and original TV shows. Alexa.
Yeah. Alexa, and then we saw Jibo come and go, but
right,
just
Echo.
This voice activation. There's so much that is happening in the space.
One of the gals who works for us, Beverly Jasuda, our
Sure.
Arizona brand ambassador. Anytime there's something that comes out new, and we get it, we're either sent it, we buy it. I put it in her home. I say, if you're going to use it, you're my perfect demographic.
Right.
Which is great. And then she tells me, okay, this worked, that didn't work. And she shows up, she wears the Apple Watch, and what she's tracking, I always find phenomenal. I mentioned that I was at an event last night with 3 of the post-acute heads of post-acute for hospitals here in Arizona.
Nice.
Right? 2 of the women were wearing the Apple Watch, which says something right there.
Right. right? It does. And you know, I really think that technology is so part of the future. And for us, you know, having a group like Aging 2.0 gives us a platform, or Mary Furlong, for example, too.
Right.
Because I know Katie really studied under Mary and she kind of built, you know, pulled out and created her own movement, so to speak. And the interesting thing about it is, you know, I liken it to be more collaborative, because if we're really going to get there, if we're really going to have technology help us age in place, we need to have no silos. We need to be collaborating. It makes no sense for you having 20 different companies trying to do the same thing, and they're all fighting for market share. I mean, this tsunami that we're talking about and we've been talking about for the last 25 years, we're in the middle of it right now. I mean, that wave has already started coming crashing down on us. So we need innovation in technology. It's not going to replace live caregiving that home care companies like Cypress provide. It's only going to enhance it. It's going to make people a lot safer. For those that may not be able to afford services for 24 hours or 12 hours, you can get limited live services, and then you can have so many of these innovations in the home, like you described, whether it be sensors, whether, you know, you're talking about refrigerator, I'm talking, or bathroom, I'm talking about measuring pulse ox, measuring blood pressure, measuring glucose, measuring all those things, and being able to push it up to the cloud to family members and physicians.
Well, as long as it's like Life 365, when you're wearing it and it captures the information, having it go someplace and being red flagged or not. As we build out, we're working on a new platform now. We're looking at doing reviews of different products that people will be able to get through us. Yes.
Love that. And Life 365 is a friend of both PKs of mine. It's owned or run by a fellow by the name of Kent Dix, and that's Life365inc.com. I've got a little less than a minute. PK, what do you want our listening audience to take away from today about ElderSense.com and about you and how you might be able to assist these families that are listening in?
If you're looking for assisted living or memory care, take a look at our site. There's no time like now to start looking for the future. Ask your parent to meet you and have lunch. Call ahead and set up a lunch meeting so you can go over, just take a tour. It's more informative and educated.
The thing I like, too, is that if you're in a neighborhood and you want somebody there, you can look it up by zip code. We got a little Fleetwood Mac taking us out. PK Fields, have a great weekend. Thank you for joining me on the show today. Make it a great day.
Thank you, Bob.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress Home Care Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit CypressHomeCare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 105.3 FM.
Hello, Phoenix. This is Chris Hill with The Motley Fool, inviting you to join me for Motley Fool Money every Saturday at 5 p.m. right here on the Southwest's longest-running financial talk station, Money Radio. Meanwhile, Monday through Friday, don't miss Mastering Money from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. with Kiplinger contributor Steve Jurich, the founder of IQ Wealth. Let Steve show you how to retire and stay retired. And now we are happy to join Steve on Mondays for Motley Fool Mondays. We'll see you there.
Money Radio 1510
and 105.3 FM.
KFNN Mesa, Phoenix, and K287BX Mesa. You're listening to the Valley's only source for full-time financial news and money talk on the radio, Money Radio. Take a look at the markets. Dow down 321 points at 24,663. S&P down 50 at 2655, and NASDAQ down 164 at 7154.
When people want to talk about money, this is the place they come to. And there's more on the way after this break for the latest news. And we've